Hey everyone, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. Well, hey everyone, welcome to our Blitzball Part 6 episode. We're really excited to continue our Blitzball series. Last time we kind of continued our all-star team levels 1 to 30, right? So we're just kind of thinking best players to play at the very beginning, just kind of doing the easy stuff to collect the rewards. Who's going to be your favorite? So last week we did our first picks. This week we're going to continue that, man. So I'm also going to be picking a defender this time. Looking at the stats, Zaltz, man, this guy is crazy, okay? Because he's almost like he's a reverse Rop, essentially. His block
Yeah.
and his attack are just like they're fantastic, and so they're actually probably a really good pair to do it. But yeah, man, he's right there, Luca, perfect choice.
He's a really good player. I guess we're going to flip flop this time around because I'm actually going to go for the forward this time. I think you already kind of know. I'm taking Shammy.
Shammy,
Good old Shammy. She
yep,
is
we just
a
talked
beast.
about her.
Yeah, I think similar to Wedge, super high attack. Just as a forward, like that just becomes really broken. Yeah, these players, if you're just trying to win the games, shouldn't have any problem with any of these players.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we're gonna continue to build our teams. It's kind of a fun little thing to do.
Honestly, man, if this was like a head to head or something, I think we'd be like pretty much tied. It's like these teams already off to a really good start.
Yeah, seriously, that'd
All
be
the
pretty
players we
fun.
selected are really solid.
If only the AI was as smart as you'd want it to be, and you can have some good battles, but no. But right, so
Nope.
we'll have our third picks next time, and so we'll just keep building this team. It's a lot of fun. All right, man. So let's continue talking about techniques. Last Blitzball episode, we talked about Venom and those. So this time we're gonna hit on Nap. Pretty straightforward. It does what it says. It puts a poison sleep players to sleep. Wow, you put a take a nap, man. What kind of foul sorcery magic is this that they're using in Blitzball, man? They're just like lulling people to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's how are they sleeping? I mean, well, how are they staying underwater this whole time? Anyways, but yeah, taking a nap underwater, right? But yeah, nap has some interesting properties, right? So we'll kind of get into this.
Yeah,
I did a little bit of research on this, things that I didn't
it's
even
quite
know about.
interesting.
It's really useful against certain players, right?
Yeah, I mean, I particularly like it against goalies, and honestly, that's why the Oryx you can win pretty easily in the beginning. It's because Datto has nap shot. Just keep shooting. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's got a
yeah,
40% chance, so you just go for it. No, you're not gonna make it. That's the point. And so you put him to sleep, and at that point, you can be like, here, Bada, you know, or it's score.
yeah, for real. Fun story on that too. Like that's actually how I beaten the Albed site. Sometimes I gotten really lucky. It's like a 40% chance, but using that exact same technique, just shooting snapshot with Dado
Yep,
and trying to put Nimrook to sleep, it works. It's a really good strategy,
it
honestly, because
does.
like you said, you're not going to score. So
No, I mean your other chance is just getting a Titus Sphere shot, just getting pretty lucky with that. So Nap is very useful. Honestly, I never really use it against just kind of engaging players though. Because yeah, I mean sometimes while putting Blappa or Barrick or just some particularly stronger players to sleep is helpful. I don't know, I don't run into those situations that often, I guess. I'd rather maybe just use
yeah.
Wither.
And I think the thing is with this too is kind of have to split it into the pass technique, the shoot technique, which we've already pretty much covered, is really useful. It's 40% chance against the goalie if it doesn't make it in, but then also the tackle. Because
Yeah.
the way I kind of see this is the tackle to me can be really useful, but I only use it if it has a chance of actually stealing the ball. If I'm not mistaken, if you don't steal the ball, it doesn't work. So, for example, if the guy has 15 endurance and your attack is 10, use nap tackle, and he still has 4 endurance, it's not going to put him to sleep.
Yeah. It's kind of like an add-on. Only works if you do actually get the ball. I don't know. I mean, it can be, and it's I've put people to sleep, and I've been put to sleep, and it is kind of an annoyance at times. As far as the status effects go, I would use Nap on a goalie more than Wither or Venom. I think they're way better just because
Yes,
of what it does. It just takes them out.
exactly. And I mean, I guess if you were to put them in a tier list, right, it'd probably be Nap, Wither, Venom. At least in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I think
I
we can
agree.
agree on
Yeah,
that because Venom just doesn't do as much. But
exactly.
the interesting thing is though the pass, unlike the attack, I'm pretty sure the pass can work just as long as it procs.
Yeah, as long as
So
it
let's
passes
say
through them
yes. So as
and it
long as
procs.
they basically actually block it,
They just gotta touch the
um,
ball.
and you'll know it'll work too because it'll switch to the screen where it'll be like a different angle. It'll just hit him straight in the chest and then
Yeah,
go to sleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, yeah. Essentially, anything that touches the ball has the chance. So that's why different shots. So nap shot 2 and 3, 40%, 70%, 100% chance. So I mean, those just look pretty good. It's nap shot 3. You just got Walker come in. It's like you look bushed. It's
Take a
like
nap. You
take a
look good.
nap. And he's gonna go to sleep. It's gonna happen.
Sorry, man. No time for lunch yet.
sorry, sorry, Nibrook. No time
Yeah,
for lunch yet.
yeah.
You look
We talked about it.
bushed.
We talked about that last time. We can't eat. I remember, especially when you get up to nap tackle 3, chances are pretty good, especially if you've got a defender with high attack, that
Yeah,
you're going to steal the ball and put him to sleep. The timing on the sleep is interesting, so we'll get into that in just a minute here.
it
But
is.
yeah, if you put a goalie to sleep, though, it's pretty much a free goal, right?
Dude, seriously, that's the most fun thing because the only downfall with that is yes, chances are it just bounces to the opposing team. So they get the ball back and you have to steal it. But at that point, you just have to steal it and anyone can score it from anywhere. Doesn't matter, shoot reaches 0. I mean, I wish you could pass it back to Keepa or whoever, Jamal, here you go.
And it's a funny scene too, right? Because you see the ball go into like one of the corners of the goal, and
Yes.
then the
He
goalie's
looks at the
just sitting
goalie
there
real quick.
again,
Nope,
like
he's sleeping. Bam, bam.
he's just hunched over, basically like laying on his back. And yeah, I looked this up. So I was kind of curious, is it possible to wake goalies up? So let's
Yeah.
say Keepa gets put to sleep.
Yeah, how do you get him
And
up?
yeah, because you can't pass to him. You can't really do anything. So I guess the best way to get around this, it's not on a timer. You just basically have to hold on to the ball as long as you possibly can, keep it away
Mhm.
from the enemy
Yeah, it's
team,
it's for the entire
and
half, right? I mean,
pretty much, yeah. Or if you can score a goal, they'll be awake on the blitz off.
yeah, they kind of
So that's
refresh
the other
status
interesting
effects
thing.
after a goal.
But it's the same thing for everybody else too. There is another way to get them up.
Well, yeah, for everyone else, I mean, yeah, the goalies you just can't pass to. Anyone else though, if you pass to them, they'll wake up. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. If one of your players does get put to sleep, I tend to usually, unless I know I'm about to score or whatever, I'll tend to go ahead and just wake them up real quick. And I never really messed around with the things we're about to get into for why you'd want to go ahead and maybe actually get put to sleep. So an obvious
That'll be an
counter
interesting one.
is anti-nap. So you have that on,
Yeah.
and obviously if a goalie has that, well, that's going to complicate that small tactic.
And then you got like some of these unique little abilities. Here's a really weird one. This is super interesting. Good morning
Yes.
is literally the name of the ability.
And it's a very happy message. It's with exclamation point. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Yeah.
Oh, top of the morning to you.
Top
Yes,
of the
I
morning.
mean, I've seen this in the game. I don't believe I've ever had it equipped because, I mean, gosh, talk about situational here. This is where, like, if you're maybe going to be put to sleep, maybe, I think some of the players like Blappa comes to mind. I think he starts with Nap Tackle 2 or something like that. So maybe you somehow get Good Morning or maybe a free agent, you put that on. You get put to sleep. Oh man, this is nuts. You have a 50% chance of powering up. So if you get woken up by a pass, and then if you wake your player up with a different whatever pass it is, so Venom, Nap, or Wither, and they'll boost, or if you just do a normal one, that'll boost other stats. Dude, it's insane, but the stats goes to
Crazy.
99.
Yeah, I had no idea. Again, I've never used it either. And now I'm thinking about it, because it's not the kind of thing that I don't think you'd want to waste a slot just
When do
by
you get put
chance.
to
I
sleep?
get put to
Almost
sleep.
never, man. And
Exactly.
yeah, this is
Right.
like,
So
gosh.
so maybe this would be one of those situations where it's almost deliberate. Maybe you
Yeah.
put it on like a board, and then if they get put to sleep, like then you can wake them up with wither. So you could throw like a wither pass at them, and then get 99 shoot.
Yeah,
Insane,
then it's just like shoot from anywhere. It's like,
right?
whoa.
Yeah, that would be
I mean,
just
because
great. I've never even
some
thought of
some
that.
players, I believe, start with this. some free agents
Yeah.
and or, some
Yep.
are able to get it really quick. And so yeah, dude, that would be a game changer. I didn't really know that. And another one that
Yeah.
also is kind of similar is Gamble. Same kind of thing, has a 50% chance of randomizing all stats except for your health and speed. Just
Yeah.
randomizes all the stats. I mean, that's pretty nuts. I wouldn't recommend it, man. I've played Final Fantasy 12 enough and used axes and hammers enough to know that you don't want completely random stats, man. Two, 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 6,000. Whoa,
Oh, man.
okay, yep, here we go. This
Oh,
is
I
how it
mean,
is.
exactly. I think anybody, as we all know, anything random in Final Fantasy is bad.
Yes.
It just always
You don't want it.
right for real. But I was thinking the other thing about these two, I'm not even sure if you can tech copy them. I've never actually tried,
Yeah, that's
or it's
interesting.
so rare that you ever see it. But one thing I do know is you tend to see Good Morning and Gamble as tournament prizes or
Yeah,
top
that's right.
scorer prizes, things like that.
Well, yeah, so that pretty much covers nap. I mean, it's very interesting. It's cool. I mean, it's kind of funny just seeing people taking naps, and their little circles are black, and like, oh, just taking a nap.
Yeah, exactly. The arrow on the map is like blacked
Yeah.
out, and they're just sitting there.
All right, man. Well, you want to talk about a couple players? So we're finally getting around to Zev because we've had this guy written up for a
That's
while, and he just
Trunks.
keeps getting bumped. Man, just keeps getting bumped. So I got the nice player card pulled up.
This is a situation in which Kamari not pass.
Kamari's not passing.
He can't. Zev can't pass. Wait, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, Zev can pass. Wait, what are we
He's
talking
good.
about?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's good. He's not Kamari.
he's
He's not
good.
this tiny little runt. Yeah.
Weakling Ronso.
Weakling. Oh boy. All right. Well, yeah. So Zev, he's right there in Luca, and honestly, I really like this guy. I've always kind
Yeah.
of, well, I think I've almost always added him to my team in like these later years. He's really good, kind of just overall starting, my opinion. So he's got 12 endurance, 7 attack, 7 pass, 7 block, 11 shoot. Very well rounded, man. He's a little slower, 52, but that's a lot better than 40 as the other Ronso are. So
Yeah.
and he does improve and will get faster.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's a little bit faster than all the other Ronso, huh?
Ideally, because of the speed and because I've done the all Ronso team and you did too, man. We tried beating the Albet Sykes. It wasn't happening. I
What's
decided
the
the
challenge?
best thing we'd do, we're just going to keep it and end in a tie. I won't suffer defeat, but I'm not going to win. It's impossible, man. You just can't get them forward enough.
It is so difficult, honestly. I couldn't believe
You
that. I
can't
mean,
push. They're too
I don't
slow.
know.
You have to
It,
bust
it
through
seems
like
like,
literally 7 times, man, and you can't get lucky
yeah.
that many times in this game.
I don't even think it's luck based. I just think it's straight up like almost you just can't.
It's just straight up Kamari not pass, man. That is what it is. I mean, that's
Pretty much.
you're not getting by. But all right, so again, I kind of would put him in the center. I've done one things where I've kind of rotated him between center and defender because by like 50, he's still pretty well rounded, man. I mean, if we look at the stats, he's up to 55 speed, so that's pretty cool. 37 endurance, it's really on par, man. That's pretty up there. Attack's never really great until the very end. We'll get to that. And then, but his pass and block, and so that's why I'd still kind of say maybe center. And honestly, it really depends on how you want to play. I've never really played the traditional center where they're kind of just sponges and they're kind of just to coordinate the ball. He would be great for that, but I like speed on defense, and so that's why he kind of comes up short a little bit right there.
Especially with some of the speedier teams, some of the like the Guado
Yeah.
be really annoying, even with like a 60 speed. At least he's not as slow as some of the other Ronso. But I mean, even at like level 50, he's pretty strong all around.
He
Huh?
is. His stats are just really overround. And honestly, here's the great thing is towards the end, man, his attack just really starts to grow. About 70 plus. It starts growing about 10, 10, 10.
Uh,
That actually will put him number 4. So he has the 4th highest attack.
I'm so surprised by that.
And
Yeah,
and
I
he's
had
at
no idea.
57 speed. So, he's
Yeah.
actually pretty up there. 73 endurance. That's great, man. I mean, that's real solid.
Oh,
Pass 54, so more than enough. And then 50 block. Shoot's not anything to worry about anymore. I mean,
yeah.
he kind of had the short live right there. But yeah, I like him. He's pretty good. There are some that I prefer maybe a little bit more, but pretty solid choice.
But what's interesting about the shoot though, because this is why like a lot of these players you can change their position as they level up because early
Yeah.
on, I mean, this guy, by level 15, he's got 17 shoot. I mean, he starts out with 11. That's pretty decent, anyways. But 17
Yeah.
is really good.
It
And
just
then,
climbs. He can
right.
almost
And
be a
then,
forward.
yeah. But so it's kind of crazy how it just kind of falls
Yeah.
off. But you notice that a lot with these stats is sometimes like they'll have certain stats that gain a lot up to, say, 50 or so. And then they just drop off. And then other stats really start to explode. So,
Yeah.
kind of hard to tell. Like if you didn't have a guide, we say that a lot, but you just basically have to play him, level him up, and then figure out how to use him.
Yeah, and almost even a heat map on this would be better to see too, because you could kind of see where things like grow and whatnot. I mean, because honestly, you're right.
Yeah,
There's almost always like some strong growth at the end in something that was either maybe foreseen or most often unforeseeable. And same with the beginning, because yeah, man, I mean, seriously, if you look at him between levels 10 and 20, he is fantastic. He's gonna be stopping almost everything. He's a beast, man. It's insane.
he actually is really good at level 99. Now that I'm looking at it, I mean, his only weakness, honestly, is his speed. I mean, at the end of the day, 57 speed actually isn't even that bad, right? Because that's
No, yeah, I mean,
three
Xiaomi
three
starts
less
at like 57, I think.
three less than most of the players out there. So,
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world.
and then he's not too expensive, huh?
No, 150 gil. So I mean, that's a lot of players. That's pretty average, honestly, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially considering the next one we got. We got to
Yes.
cover Rob, finally. We're going to really cover Rob in depth here. So, as we all know, I mean, this isn't like some mystery or anything at this point that Rob is pretty much, I think, the best defender, right?
Okay.
Like,
Hold on,
I,
man. But tell me this: does this dude have his overalls on backwards? is is that
I
what
like
I'm
it.
seeing right here? It kind of
Yeah,
looks like it, man. What are you doing? You can't see with those
yeah.
glasses, dude. Look at this. Like, why you can't make the circle larger? What's going on? Give yourself some
I
bigger eye
know.
holes, man.
I love he's got the typical Al Bed sort of like skull cap on, bandana thingy. With the
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
like, swimming
What,
swimming
dude?
goggles.
What's with these sleeves, guys? This is ridiculous. You have to wear belts on your forearms to hold your sleeves up.
Final fancy dress code, man.
Yeah, it's
They
good
gotta
stuff.
be they gotta be
Love it.
fashionable. So let's talk about some of the advantages of this guy. I guess the very first thing I would start off that's super interesting about him is he actually starts at level 5.
A handful that start at like maybe 2 and 3. There's even fewer that start at like 5, and then there's like 1 or 2 that start at 8. And so he's one of the few that, yeah, no, starts at level 5. And so why is that so good, man?
2 tech slots right off the bat.
And so he's got passes, tackles. He has all the antis, so all that, and brawler. And so he's got some really good techniques starting out.
Like you said, he's got all of the antis right off the bat. A brawler, which
Yep.
is key for a defender. I like to stick him with Nat Pass and Wither Tackle because that fits in with his level. He can use them quite a bit, and of course, Wither Tackle gives him a nice little boost of attack plus that
Yeah.
chance hurting their shoot or something.
And you definitely that's basically what he's going to be doing, right? He's going to be tackling, he's
Yeah.
going to be passing, and you want to kind of remember the things your players are going to be doing a lot. Make sure you have an ability for that because it's just also extra experience, right? You want to try to limit just regular actions as little as possible. 9 endurance, man. That's pretty good. That's higher for defenders. An 11 attack, 10 pass, 15 block. So I mean that block is one of the best at starting out. I think Mep is maybe the only one that has more than that at 19, but Mep is not going to make the All-Star team, I don't believe. I looked at him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mep, not happening.
Well, and I think that's one of the best things about Rob too, is that essentially he's got consistent stat growth in everything except for shoot, catch, and speed.
Yep.
More or less, his speed just stays at 60, which is,
Yep,
pretty normal
that's
for
yeah,
most of the players.
exactly.
Probably wouldn't be using him to shoot because you could use him as a midfielder, but like a defensive midfielder if you
Yeah.
really wanted to.
I don't think he could use him to shoot. No, I mean he ends with 11. I don't think that's
Yeah,
gonna be
his
good.
shoot isn't his shoot is not good, and his endurance is good, like you said. You
Yeah,
want
at
to
the
be
beginning it's
careful a
good.
little bit.
At the beginning it is.
Yeah,
That's just
exactly. You
strong.
want to be a little bit careful. That sometimes I'll be using Rob to do that technique we talked about, just basically trying to draw out the defender. If he
Right.
gets too much on him, endurance can be a problem. But one of the cool things is he kind of overcompensates with his pass. And
Yeah.
since he comes
Yeah.
with pass
Oh
abilities,
man.
you can
He's got
sometimes get yourself out of trouble.
his pass is always good. really kicks off at the end. I mean, it just starts taking off. His block is also really good in the beginning, really slow though. I'd say that's the kind of the slower one, and then it kind of picks up towards the end as well. He's got great stats, and like you said, everything that just grows consistently. That's not a very common thing. We just talked about
Yeah,
it. Usually it's some things grow and then they stop growing. His is it's
yeah.
good. It's good growth.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because it varies by the stat. The lower stats tend to actually grow really decent. Like I noticed, endurance starts at 9, sort of grows about 2 to 3 points every 5 levels, which is really solid. And then he ends up at 46 at level 99,
Yeah.
which is plenty good enough. I mean, it's not his strong point. We'll get to his strong points in a little bit. Well, I guess right now, really, right? Like so,
We
attack,
get
for
some, yeah.
example, yeah, starts at 11. Since it starts so high, you get about 1 to 2, generally speaking, per 5 levels until
Yeah.
about 25. Then it switches it up about 2 to 3 until 60. Then it's almost like seems like 4 to 5 until level 99. And so he ends up with the highest attack, 73. It's crazy. You
73.
think about that with like Nat Tackle 3, and he's hitting what 80, I believe.
Yeah.
So
No, it's gonna be insane. He's gonna take you out if you're not careful. And that's the thing is his attack does start great. I mean, 11 is fantastic, but it's almost kind of actually a little slow get going because
yes,
interesting thing I was looking at for why I took Zaltz is Zaltz has higher attack, doesn't grow very much either, but he actually will have higher attack all the way through like level 30. So Rop is kind of maybe a slower bloom, but everything together, though, mixed with his block in the pass and kind of the early endurance. Because, yeah, he ends with 46. That's not great, but hey, you have it there in the early. So mid levels might be a little shaky, but man, it doesn't matter because 96 pass at the end, you're going to be able to pass over
yeah.
anyone.
I was gonna say exactly. That's the crazy thing, and it grows actually really really well. So among the top 5 best passers in the game at 96,
Yeah,
which is
which is fantastic.
really yeah, and like I said, that pretty much just makes up for the mediocre endurance, if you can call it that. For a defender, I still think 46 is really good. But let's
Yeah,
say you get into a situation, 96
Larbate's
pass.
going to take
And
you out.
yeah,
You guys
yeah,
will
and
just keep taking each other out, essentially.
but, I mean, even at 96, here's another thing too. You could probably just save a slot. You wouldn't even really need a pass technique unless you wanted the stat to go with it.
Yeah, the
The stat
effect.
is
Yeah.
exactly. And then let's move on to block. So block starting at 15, you're not gonna see as good a growth with that either. It's kind of similar
No.
to attack. Yeah, it's about 1 to 2 points per 5 levels.
But it starts
Um,
high. I mean, 15 starting out, that's
that's
wow. That's
exactly it. Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, he's going to be blocking everything.
And on top of that, you don't get like no growth or negative growth or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And really increases towards the end, so ends up at 53, which is really solid. I remember looking at players for block, and honestly, aside from him and obviously a lot of the Guado, it's really one of the best. And with the Guado, it seems like you had to give up attack.
I
And
mean,
I
that's the
just feel
thing.
like attack is more
It
important.
seems like it's, for instance, Rob has the highest attack, but his block's a little lower. Some have
Yeah.
higher block, but then attack will be lower. It kind of seems to be like this mixture of a 20 difference, just going one way or the other, or evening out. I honestly, I would rather have higher attack and lower block.
Exactly, and that's the interesting thing about this is there is kind of like that difference in terms of what you're really looking for in your defenders because I
Yeah,
remember looking at that, when you look at all their stats, it's a give and a take. There are some players that have pretty much all really good stats, like,
yeah,
Rob is a good example, but let's say, yeah, you want higher block, well, you're going to have to sacrifice attack usually for that or endurance, pass. It's a give and a take.
yeah.
And so he's a good, just he's really solid all around.
Yep.
And then the other thing I'll throw in there too is that I like his key techniques aren't too crazy to learn. Anti Venom 2 is a little bit annoying. I'll give it that. But Night Tackle is super
Yeah,
easy to
that'll be
learn.
easy.
His key technique. And then later on in the game, Venom Pass 3 isn't too difficult.
Well, he's a little bit more expensive. He's 200 gil, so this is really only if you don't move on or you're just doing a lot of blitzball in the beginning, obviously. But he's a little bit more pricey, that's for sure.
He's worth it. That's the thing, it's like if you just want to beat the games, if you just want to get the prizes, then this is a solid player. One really funny thing, I don't think I've ever seen this, but I looked it up. You let his contract expire and you don't renew it. Apparently he says, come to the agency next time. Drinks are on me.
Drinks are on him. Heck yeah, let's get him.
I just thought that's funny. They all have like a little quote.
Yeah, they do. I like reading those too. They're pretty hilarious. All right, well, that's actually going to do it for this installment of our Blitzball series. We're going to keep it going, obviously, and a few new episodes coming your way. We just appreciate you listening, hanging out, spending the time. You could be doing other things, but you chose to listen to the podcast, and we appreciate the support. So we just like to thank you.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
All right, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks.